Okay. We may have some other people coming in, and if so, just point them at a seat so we have the least possible confusion. I'll get some pencils after I get Mr. Bustos started, because I don't want to waste any more time getting started. Those of you who are coming from other classes, have you had a chance to see the video on Cesar Chavez and the Great Picker Strike? Okay, if not, then some quick background. In 1965, a strike started in Delano, and in 1966, Cesar Chavez decided to march from Delano to Sacramento, 25 days, to knock on the governor's door. And he put Mr. Bustos in charge of that march, organizing that march. They came through Farmersville on like Sunday, March 20th or 21st, something like that. Spent the night at Snowden School, and in the morning picked up and marched on to Visalia. So he was involved in that. He was the organizer of the march for Cesar Chavez. And then later, he was present the night that Robert Kennedy, who was running for president, and he won the California primary, and he gave a victory speech, and he was supposed to go to a party that Mr. Bustos was organizing. And instead, somebody steered him a different direction through a kitchen, and he was assassinated in the kitchen. So Mr. Bustos has been present and part of an enormous amount of history, and he's going to talk. But if you have questions, you are free to raise your hand and ask questions. Please don't blurt questions out. Please raise a hand so we can keep this orderly. All right? Go ahead, Mr. Bustos.
Thank you. Thank you guys for inviting me over today. The other class before you had a lot of questions. I hope that you guys have some questions too for me. Okay? Let me tell you about a little bit about me, myself, and then how I got involved with the movement, el campesino, el movimiento campesino, the farm worker movement. I'm one of the original strikers of the 1965 Delano Great Strike. You know where Delano is? You heard about Delano? That's where we started the strike in 1965. Thousands, along with me, we came out on strike asking for better wages, better working conditions, better treatments. Because farm workers, as you know, don't have any rights, don't have any protection, don't have any laws. So we went on strike saying, hey, we want more money. We need more money to support our family. And as you know about farm work, how many here families are farm workers? Trabajan en el field. Sus padres trabajan en el field. They work in the field, yeah. You know the conditions about farm workers. So Cesar Chavez started the movement, and he asked us, guys, do you want to strike for better wages? It's enough time now to do something about it. So we went on strike. Just for your information, how I met Cesar Chavez, back in 1965, in early March, they were having a meeting. They were going to talk about the union, talk about the strike, talk about the benefits, talk about everything that needs to be talked about concerning this movement. So we went to a home. Somebody was hosting the house for him to come and speak. So había mucha gente, muchos trabajadores. A lot of farm workers showed up. About 40 or 50 people were there. And I was in the back. We were in the back. Me and my brother were in the back. And then I heard somebody talking. I said, who's talking? ¿Quién está hablando? Who's talking? And I couldn't see. And I thought it was going to be, when I heard about Cesar Chavez, big man, strong man, big guy, mustache, you know, Mexicano, whatever. You know, and when I saw him, this little short guy, 5'6", out there talking. And he started talking about, hey, about the farm workers, about why we have to do this, why we have to do that. How come farm workers don't have this and have that? You know, when he was talking about my dad, my father. He worked in the field for all his life. My parents worked in the fields all their life. My brothers and sisters worked in the fields all their life. And he was talking about them. And I said, this man knows what he's talking about. And I'm glad that he's around, that he came about to help us. And after he finished his speech, after he finished his talk, me and my brother went up to him, shook his hand, you know, and we told him, we like to join, we like to help. We want to go on strike with you. We want to join the union. And he says, welcome. Come tomorrow to the office in Delano, and we can talk some more. Okay? So before that night, me and my brother went to El Patron, El Mayordomo, the one that, you know, we were working for, and we told him that we were not going to go to work the next day, that we were going to join the union, we're going to go on strike, and we're going to join Cesar Chavez and the farm worker movement. And he said, you guys are crazy. You're going to leave work to go join Cesar, you know, and the farm workers? How are you going to support yourself? He said, well, we'll see. We're going to win. We're going to win. So the next day, we went to the office, and he was there, Cesar was there, waiting for us. He greeted us, he gave us a hug, and welcome, brothers, he said. Join the strike. He gave us information, he took information from us. What ranch did you come out from? Who you're working for, and so forth. Then he says, mañana, tomorrow, come at 7 in the morning. We're going to assign you to some crews, because we're going to go out there and talk to other workers. We're going to go visit some crews that are working to talk to them and tell them to come out and strike. That's how I met Cesar. That's how I met him. So it's been what, 47, 50 years ago that we've known each other. That's how long we've known each other. So we went on strike. There were thousands of us, we came out on strike, and we were talking to other workers to come out on strike. And you know, it was rough, guys, it was rough. We had no protection. Nobody was, in our side, for example. The workers were, but as far as the growers, the company, they didn't want us there. You know, we took on the most powerful industry in the nation. They had the money, they had the power, they had the police on their side, they had everything. We only had a picket sign. What's a picket sign? What is a picket sign? What do you know about a picket sign? You know what it is? Something that, a stick with a sign, what we're doing. We are on strike, don't buy this thing, don't come in here, don't shop here. That's a picket sign. That's what we picked up and said, okay, let's go. That's the only thing that we had. We had nothing. There were no laws to protect us. We were thrown in jail, we were arrested, we were intimidated, we were harassed. Because, why? Because we were fighting for our rights. We were fighting for our rights. I was arrested 5 times, I was thrown in jail 5 times. For no reason. That we were on private property, no we're not. This is public, over there is private. I'm here. I said, no, come on. Al paddy wagon y vámonos a la cárcel. 2 or 3 days in jail, then we come out again, pick up our picket sign, and here we are again. And they were amazed, they were surprised. They, oh, you guys are still here? Like they wanted to scare us, throwing us in jail. And we were stopped every time for no apparent reason. You know why? Because, we had nobody to protect us. The police were not on our side. They were on the side of the growers, the company. So it was rough. It was rough. We were shot at, beat up, sprayed. They even sprayed us with pesticides, sulfur, anything. They were passing by in the tractors and they sprayed us. Why? We were fighting for our rights. We wanted more money. It's not like you go to the store and they tell you, this is your line, guys. All farm workers can go here and get all the discounts because you don't make that much money. We didn't do that. They didn't tell us that. We pay the same price as anybody else. And guys, in 1935, that's a long time ago. In 1935, a law passed that gave rights to millions of workers, the right to organize, the right to belong to a union, the right to negotiate with their employer about better wages, better working conditions, and better treatment. Y mero abajo, from that law, way at the bottom, it said, except farm workers. Wow. Why were farm workers left out? Why? Why we were not included? You know, it's a job. Farm work is a job, we know that. You know, but why we were excluded? And that question I asked Cesar back then, when we were in the march, I asked Cesar, why were farm workers excluded from that law? He said, mira Roberto, farm workers don't have any friends in Congress. They don't have any friends in Washington. They don't have any friends in the governor's office. Farm workers don't have anybody to fight for them. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing, to change that. And then he said, who makes those laws? Who do you think makes those laws and excludes farm workers? He said, the growers' sons and daughters, they finish school, go to college, get their education, and they become what? They become lawyers, they become doctors, they become mayors, governors, residents, the sons and daughters of the growers, because they go to college. And our people, our kids don't go to college. Back then, they didn't go to college. They had to leave school to go to work and support their family. Cesar Chavez did not have education. You know that if you read the story on him. He only went to the 8th grade. He had to leave school to go work in the field to help support the family. Like every other farm worker that has gone out there. Like myself too. I only went to the 9th grade. I want to start the 10th grade, but I couldn't do it. I had to go work. There was no money. I had no food. So I had to go to work. And that back then when I worked was cottons in Arizona, picking cotton, chopping cotton. That's what we did. So he didn't have education. But what he did was read a lot of books. He read a lot of books. He read books on social justices, discrimination. He read a lot of books. And he got educated. He got educated. And he started to know how to defend himself and defend and help other people to defend themselves. That's how he got educated. But going to school, he didn't. Now, it's much easier for some people to go to college. But back then, there wasn't. Now there's grants. And Cesar Chavez, guys, right now, he will be proud of you guys. He'll be proud of you. But you're in school. And he will say, stay in school. He will tell us, tell your kids to stay in school. Every day he will tell us something. Stay in school, get educated, get your education. And when you get your education, then come back and help your community. Help your community. That's what he always stressed. So that was good. That was a good advice. That was a good advice. Now, Mr. Carroll mentioned about the march. Hey, we were doing everything on the strike. We did everything on the strike, you know. We took the workers out. The workers came out on strike, and they still refused to negotiate with us. They refused to meet with us. So Cesar suggested that we go to Sacramento and talk to the governor. And back then, the governor was Governor Brown, which is the father of the Governor Brown that we have now. Wow. That was Governor Brown back then. So he said, guys, what do you think? There were 15 of us organizers. We were meeting that night. And he walked in and he said, guys, what do you think if we go to Sacramento to talk to the governor and complain about what's going on? Of all the treatments that we're getting. The growers refuse to meet with us. They don't want to negotiate with us. They're bringing in strike breakers to break the strike. They're reporting people to work in the fields that people came out of the fields to strike. You know, we've been harassed. We've been intimidated. We've been arrested by the police. Maybe the governor can do something. Because there had been other marches, you know, Cesar knew about other marches. Martin Luther King, he did a lot of marches in Selma, Alabama. He knew about these marches. So he said, what do you guys think of going to Sacramento to go talk to the governor and complain? And we said, hey, hell yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Let's go to Sacramento and talk to the governor. He said, we'll get all the cars together. You know, we'll get all the family, all the strikers, all of our friends, and we'll caravan. And we'll make a caravan to go to Sacramento and talk to the governor. You know, we can leave about 9, 10 in the morning, get there by 12, 1 o'clock, meet with the governor, and then come back home around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Yeah, we can do that. Cesar kind of put his head down and said, no, no, no. Little smile, little smirky smile on his face. No, I'm not talking about driving to Sacramento. I'm talking about walking to Sacramento, marching to Sacramento. And we said, what? We looked at each other and said, what? And I said to myself, this guy is crazy. He wants us to march to Sacramento, walk to Sacramento. I noticed that the speed, the limit, the distance from Delano to Sacramento is 215 miles. 215 miles, and he wants us to walk that far, that long? That guy is crazy. And then before he left that night, the meeting, he said, think about it, guys, think about it. He left. And after he left, we started thinking about it. You know what? Why not? We should go. Everybody else is marching, we should go. So the next day, we started talking and talking and talking and said, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. And let's plan it, let's plan it, let's plan it. And 3 or 4 days before we started the march, I went with an assistant lawyer, a lawyer that was studying to be a lawyer. We went to the towns that we were going to pass through and ask for permission. We're going to be passing through your town. Do we need to sign something here? Do we need a permit to sign? Well, no, you don't have to. That's okay, no problem, no problem. Another place, yeah, you need to sign this. Yeah, you're going to be passing through our streets, you know? So March 17th, guys, March 17th, that's when we started the march to Sacramento. But then he said, before, we're not going to go through 99 though. We're not going to go through traffic, because that's very dangerous. We're going to go through the backside. We're going to go through the back roads. We're going to go to visit other farm worker communities. We want people to know what we're doing. We want to invite people to join us, to go. So when we started, we went to Delano, we went to Rich Grove, we went to Ducor, Terra Bella, Porterville, Lindsay, you know, all those towns. Exeter, Farmersville. We passed through 53 towns. And out of those towns, 25 of those we stayed overnight. And Farmersville was one of them. We came through Visalia Road. We got to Farmersville Boulevard, we made a left, we went to Snowden School. How many went to Snowden School? Yeah, we were there. In 1966, we were there. We stayed there overnight. We ate there. We had a rally. We had a meeting. We stayed there. You guys, your family or whoever gave us food, gave us water, gave us ánimo to continue. So we did that. We stopped here. So now it wasn't 215 miles. By the time we finished, over 400 miles. Because we went through the back. Crisscrossing, zigzagging, to get to the places that we wanted to get. 400 miles. So what does March 17 means to you guys? What is March 17? What holiday is that over? That's that day. What is it? St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. You know about green, huh? People wear green, and you know you don't wear green, you're the pinch. But to me, guys, March 17 means that's the day that I was down at one knee, tying my shoes, at 6 in the morning, ready to start the march to Sacramento. That's what I remember. So every year, March 17 comes around, I don't say St. Patrick's. That's the day we started the march. That's the day I started walking to Sacramento. So all in all, guys, for your information, that's me right there. That's me right there. There's Cesar Chavez back there. 400 miles, 25 days to get there. March 17th to April 10th, Easter Sunday. And that was our plan, to get there on Easter Sunday. Governor Brown told us that he was not going to be there. He said, I got other plans. I'm going to be spending Easter Sunday with other friends, family, you know. So I won't be there. It's okay. He said, that's all right. When we get there, we're gonna knock on your door. And if you're not gonna be there, well, too bad for him. Because he lost really bad. Elections, he lost really bad. See, once they saw the march, people, they saw the march coming. They, who are these people? Who are they? Why are they walking? Where are they going to? So there was publicity, cameras. We were in the news every day. Newspapers were writing about it, you know. So people started knowing what was going on in Delano. Oh, these are farm workers from Delano. They're on strike with the grape industry. They're walking to Sacramento to talk to the governor so they can help them. So that's how the news got out about Delano. In other words, guys, we put Delano on the map in the march. Nadie sabía lo que estaba sucediendo en Delano. Nobody knew what was going on in Delano. The strike. Nobody knew about the strike. But the march brought light. They said, who are these people? Why are they marching? Where are they going? Farm workers, farm workers, farm workers. And that's where people started, donations started coming in. People were helping us. People were helping us. They asked the question, how do you guys live when you had no work? You were not working. How did you live? Donations. People were giving us food. People was giving a little bit money so we could pay our rent. Some people lost cars. Some people lost houses because of work. You know, that's how we live, on donations, donations, donations. Even in the march, people ask me, where did you guys stay? Wherever there was a room, we stayed there. We had 3 people ahead of us, 2 days, 3 days ahead of us, and they were organizing. They were telling, the march is coming, the march is coming. Can you help us? Can you help us? What do you need? Well, we need some housing. Can you put them up for the night? Can you put them up for the night? Well, I can take 2 people, I can take 3 people, I can take 4 people, I can take a couple, I can take women, whatever. But the majority of us, me and my assistant captains, I was a captain of the march, my assistant captain, we stayed in the parks. When we got there, we stayed in the park. We slept in the parks. We had sleeping bags, we stayed there. Or, if there was a house, they took in some people, we stayed outside in the porch, or outside in the yard, and we slept there. That's how we slept. Sleeping bags, you know, that's how we slept. There wasn't a house every time because there wasn't enough people. There wasn't enough farm workers to help us. They didn't know about us yet. So every day the line grew. Every time we passed through a town, people joined, people joined, people joined. Some people join on the weekends. They say, well, you know, I can't help you right now, but I'll go on the weekends and help you. All right, whatever. So they will march on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They will come back home, do what they have to do, and then next weekend they go over there and march with us. So when we started Delano, there were 77 of us, guys. 77 campesinos. Men, women, and children. Not children. Children couldn't go. On the weekends, we saw a lot of kids because they go on the weekends. So there were 77 started, and every day the line grew. Joined, and they joined. We got people from Farmersville joined us. Exeter, they joined us. We got to Visalia, people joined us. And every town, people would join. And by the time we got over there in Sacramento, this is West Sacramento. Look how many people. From 77 of us, all those people. When we got to Sacramento, 10,000 people were there at the Capitan, waiting for us, joining us. They came to welcome us, and they joined us because they knew what we were doing. So that was a march in 1966. And we made history. We didn't know that we were making history. I didn't know that. We're in the history books. The movement, Cesar Chavez and the union are in history books. You guys are reading about it. There's books. My name is there too. You see my name is in there too. Well, we made history. The first time the farm workers ever marched to to state capitol to talk to the governor. First time. Pues hicimos historia. Estamos en los libros de la historia. I urge you guys to check out the libraries and check out some books and read about the movement, Cesar Chavez, and the farm workers. Any questions, guys? So far? Am I boring you? Am I boring you?
If the students don't have any questions, I would like for you to talk a little bit about Senator Robert Kennedy.
Sure. Robert Kennedy came to Delano 3 times. It was amazing, an honor for him to come and say and declare that I am a friend of the farm workers. I respect Cesar Chavez for what he's doing, and I sympathize with you guys, and I will do everything in my power to make changes for farm workers. Oh man, that was great. He walked the picket line with us. He was in the fields with us. He was assigned to me. Cesar said, take him with you, Roberto, take him with you, show him what we're doing, and let him speak to workers out there. Maybe he can help them, bring them out. Yeah, he was out there talking. What did I say? Well, tell him, Huelga, get out and join the strike. So he was saying that, When he was running for president in LA, we went to his rally. We went to help him. About 200 of us farm workers, we went to Los Angeles to help his campaign. We were walking the streets, signing up people, registering people for the voting, and also to vote for Robert Kennedy, our next president. And the plan was, he was supposed to meet with us after he finished his speech, his victory speech, because he won the primaries in LA, in California. His plan was, after he finished his speech, he was gonna come to our building, to our room where we were at, the 200 farm workers. We had music, we had mariachis waiting for him, and he was gonna come in personally to thank Cesar Chavez and the farm workers for our help in getting him elected, or getting him, to win the primaries. But it was funny, during the campaign, the houses that we knocked on doors and we talked to Spanish-speaking people, there was one man, he told me, I'm gonna vote for Robert Kennedy in the primaries. But during the general election, I can't vote for him. You're gonna vote for him now, but no, I'll help him right here. But general elections, I can't vote for him. Why? Because they're gonna kill him. Just like they did his brother. They're gonna kill him. And I was, wow, I never heard that before. I said, well, that's your decision. So he won the primaries, and he was supposed to come over and talk to us and thank us for what we did. And then we heard commotion, noise, crying, yelling. What's going on? What's going on? What's happening? People running. That's when they came with the news and said, Robert Kennedy's been shot. What? Like, not again. Like his brother. And yeah, it was true. They shot him. He was killed that night, July 5th, in the primaries, 1968, in Los Angeles, California. And I was there, we were there. I was present, he was coming to see us, and he didn't make it. How sad, huh? One of the times he came to Delano, he took us to lunch. Me and my wife, another couple, he took us to lunch. He bought lunch. He bought lunch. And I tell people when I talk about that, he said, if I would have known that he was going to pay for lunch, I would have ordered a steak. I would order a hamburger. So that's I only had $5 in my pocket. And I would have ordered a steak because he paid for lunch. Let me show you something, guys. Bobby Kennedy. That's me. My wife. Go ahead and share it with the rest. He just sent me a letter thanking me for the lunch and for sharing our ideas, and I hope that we can see each other again. He sent me a letter. Thank you. So that's what happened to Robert Kennedy. Our next president, the one who was going to help us, the one he got after the district attorney, the chief of police, the Kern County Sheriff Department, he got after them and saying, why are you arresting these people? What are they doing wrong? They're not doing anything wrong. They're not violating any laws. They're out there striking and fighting for better wages, better working conditions. Why do you arrest them? Well, the sheriff said, if I hear they're going to start something, I eliminate the risk. I eliminate the problem. So you can't do that. You can't just arrest people. People got rights, the constitutional rights. And you arrest them? That's how the sheriff department works in Kern County. Especially that's how he's working with us. Any questions, guys? Any other questions? No? Am I boring you?
If the students don't have a question, I would like for you to talk about how hard was it for Cesar Chavez to keep the farm workers nonviolent?
Oh, yeah. Our motto was nonviolence, nonviolence, nonviolence. But things got hard, got heated. People started, reacting. How come they can do this to us and we can't fight back? You know what I mean? And Mexicano, sometimes they get angry. How come, we're thrown in jail, I get arrested, getting beaten up, getting sprayed by pesticides, insecticides, in the fields, and we can't do anything. And people were getting to retaliate. And Cesar said, no. This is a nonviolent strike, nonviolence movement, and I'm not going to have anything to do with that. If you cannot control your anger, then you should not be here. You should not be here. You can go ahead and leave. And thank you for your service. Thank you for your help. So Cesar started fasting. You know what fasting is? No food, just water. He's fasting for nonviolence because he noticed, he saw that people were getting angry and we were going to go out there and start fighting and maybe hurt somebody. So that's one of the fasts that he did. He fasted for nonviolence. There was other fasts that he did. Pesticides, discrimination, farm workers, everything. He did fasting. You see it? You saw this? Okay. Pretty nice, huh? If you know the history about Jenny, that's something. My kids, my sons and daughters, they have a picture of this in their home. They see that, oh wow, my dad and Robert Kennedy. Mom and dad and Robert Kennedy. Yeah. So what else? What else, guys? Yes, ma'am.
How did you feel when Cesar died?
What's that?
How did you feel when Cesar died?
When Cesar died? Ooh. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. People were saying, no, that's not true. No. Wait, no way. He died very young. He died at 66 years old. 66. That's pretty young. His dad died at 94 years old. His mom passed away at 90. And we said, he's got a long life to live. Maybe it's in the genes that he's going to live. But what happened to him that we kind of came to know that there was all that fasting that he did without no food for so many days, 25 days, 33 days, 32 days, without no food. It messed him up. It hurt him. The riñones, the liver, all that, it messed him him up. So that's why we know that he died because of that. His body just gave up. We were thinking that maybe something might happen to him because of what we were doing. Somebody might kill him, just like the Kennedy. Somebody might shoot him, And there were threats. There were threats on him. But nothing really happened because we were out there looking out for him. We made sure that nobody was out there. We had bodyguards. We made our own bodyguards. We were bodyguards. We were strikers and we were also bodyguards when he went someplace. Yeah, it was sad. Yeah, we couldn't believe it, that how he died. And he said it many times, guys. He said it many times. If something happens to me, don't let this thing stop. Don't let this movement stop. You guys continue. And that's what we're doing. I'm continuing. Since 1965, this is what I'm doing. I'm still talking about it. I'm still active. I'm still a member. I'm still saying, Cesar Chavez presente. He's in the spirit with us. He's in spirit, sure. And he'll be happy with you guys that you're in school. He'll be happy that you guys are in school. Get your education. You always say it. You always tell us, get your education. Yeah, it was sad. We couldn't believe it. And people that were with him that day that he died, that night that he died in Arizona, he was working. He was working. He had to go to court the next day to go fight in court. And when he went to his room, he was still writing notes, what he was going to say, what he was going to do the next day. And they saw light coming from the door. They were still working. It was 12 o'clock at night, and they saw light, still working. Then the next morning, because they saw him, he's not up. Something's happening. Because he was get up early in the morning, 6 o'clock, telling everybody, hey, let's go, let's go, let's go. We got to do it. We got to go. That morning he didn't show up. He didn't get up. And they knocked on the door. Cesar, are you up? Nothing, nothing, nothing. And knock again. Cesar, are you up? That's when they opened the door. That's when they saw him. No move. He passed away that night. No sound, no nothing, just went to sleep and never got up. So when we heard news about it, we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it.
We have maybe a minute before the bell rings. When the bell rings, I'm going to let Mr. Bustos talk until the bell rings. But when the bell rings, if you would like to be in a picture with Mr. Bustos, just gather around. Otherwise, you're welcome to go. Final question. Someone else that you must have worked very closely with was Dolores Huerta. What can you tell us about Dolores?
Dolores Huerta, la jefa, we call her. Another martyr, another co-founder, She's great. She's a woman. She knows how to deal. She knows how to do things and get things done. It was an honor to work with her too. She now heads her own foundation, the Dolores Huerta Foundation. You guys can check it out too. The website, Dolores Huerta Foundation, check out what they're doing. They're out there in the community, so organizing, still doing work, fighting. Anything that injustices for low-income people, farm workers, she's out there with her foundation fighting. She was Cesar's right-hand woman, She's the one that, hey, I'll go. Well, we need somebody over here. I'll go. And she was out there. And the story was about her, joining Cesar back then in the 1950s, the 1960s. She joined, a school teacher from Stockton, California, with 6 kids.
All right. So if you want to be in the picture, go ahead and gather around.
You want to?
Anyone who wants to get into the picture, go ahead and gather around.
It'll be in the paper, huh?
And if you're not interested, you're welcome to leave. But you got to get crowd close. Some of you maybe crouch down in front.
Get in.
All right, on 3, 1, 2. All right, that's a good one.
Thank you, guys. Good luck in your education, okay?